Hello, friends. Welcome. July 3rd, 2022. Virtual Strangers 158. I, of course, am your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend, Ruuts. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. It's crazy, man. I can't believe 158. I can't believe the OBS is so weird and finicky at times. And hopefully, I'm crossing fingers. No more freezing. Weird stuff. And I'm feeling like Christmas is like a week away, and I'm pissed, bro. I want it to be next Sunday, because my graphics card will come, and I can't wait. So.
Twas the night before, 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 the night before Christmas. And all through the house. OBS was acting weird, but that's all right, because we're on the air, and we got people in the chat, bro. It's time to talk VR.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait.
So a 3080 Ti, right?
Yeah, 3080 Ti. I've never had a Ti before, so I'm excited about it. Done a lot of research. Really good card. Really good deal. And I think the now is we've all been waiting for that bottom, right? And the MSRP on a 3080 Ti for the Win 3 EVGA is not 1150, and I got for 1150 through Best Buy. I don't know how much lower it can go. And you're seeing, this is the thing, man. I watch all sorts of news in all sorts of different areas of everything, and I kind of try to piece it together in my own way of knowing what's coming. And Spry Guy posted something in the Discord. I think it was him. Something about how a lot of people, or a lot of the companies, big companies, are scaling back on their production on this RAM at the time when we have all these new items, not just PlayStation 5, all these video cards, the new 4000 series, Ryzen's, all these things. It doesn't make sense unless something's about to change. I think in a bit, and probably not the best way. And so I would suggest people don't wait for the 4000 series. Don't listen to people. They told us that last time. I was so glad I had 2080 when I couldn't get a hold of a card. And now they're out there. They're everywhere. I've got one coming in 7 days. And I had a choice of all sorts of variety through Best Buy alone, Amazon, whatever. So that's just my suggestion anyway. But it's crazy. It's a crazy time, because it's even myself, even though I feel like I know what's going on, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Nobody does. So.
Well, you know, after things being out of stock for 3 years, demand is finally starting to dwindle. People are running out of their free money that they were given,
Sure.
2.5 years ago. All that's starting to run out now, and prices are coming down. Things are becoming available. PS5s have been pretty readily available over the last couple of weeks. I would say at this point, if Todd doesn't have one, it's because he's not trying, man.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they've been in stock from Sony Direct for like hours at a time on more than one occasion over the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, man, graphics cards coming in stock. You know, it's a fire sale. Prices are coming down. Everyone's getting new hardware who has any kind of money left in the bank. And, yeah, man, who knows what's around the corner? I know. Well, I say I know. I know new headsets are around the corner, but I guess we still don't technically have any release dates on that stuff. So I guess we should probably knock on wood and cross our fingers and all that crazy shit until we have it in our hands, right?
Yeah, because we were expecting it a while ago. And, even our own discussions, we thought, man, like, maybe we're wrong. Maybe it's not 2023 early Q1. Maybe we're wrong. It's not quarter one 2023. Maybe it's even later. Maybe it's not earlier. I don't know, man.
Shut your filthy mouth, Roots. It's going to be quarter one 2023, because if it's not, I'll just play something else, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, man. There's so much technology that's wrapped up in this. If they don't get the jump, so to speak, someone else will kind of steal their glory. It'll probably be Meta. We don't want that to happen. But I don't think there's, man, all the leaked pictures of kits out there and all the games that we keep hearing, man, you don't know what's being made. Like, we're getting close. I think I would say quarter one's actually seeming really very, very not only possible, but probable. So
Yeah, I agree, and time's going to fly between now and then. It's already, as I said at the top, July 3rd. It seems like we just got this year kicked off, and we're already past the halfway mark on it. And as I look back through the Gen 1 catalog, and I've been kind of doing this a little bit lately, looking back at the games I didn't finish, the great ones,
As
not
well.
just the not just the good ones, but the great ones that I didn't finish. Like I didn't finish a lot of great games, and then even still, there are great games that I did finish 3 years ago, 4 years ago that I wouldn't mind revisiting. So we're gonna have plenty of stuff to play, and that's not even considering all the great stuff that's coming out week in and week out. I had fun this past week, man, playing Wandering in Space. I did Ruins Magus demo today, which we're going to talk about in a little while. Been playing with my haptics vest a little in Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife, and I'm about to restart Moss Book 2
Nice.
for reasons we'll get to in a little bit. But I've been having fun, man. I've been having fun playing VR this week, and like I said, time flies. The Christmas time will be here before you know it, and then you know what comes next.
Absolutely. Plus all these mods, man. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what. Are you kind of glad you did wait, I guess, or didn't finish some of these games? Like you're Asgard's Wrath now, and now you got a 3080, and now you can push the hell out of that game, and it's such an amazing looking game to begin with.
Yeah, and you know what else? Boneworks. Like I was thinking about this earlier today. Like I went deep into Boneworks, but I never did quite finish it, and I'm not sure I've been back in there for any kind of real period of time since I did upgrade my graphics card and my headset. So, like we've got that, you know. And I mean, we've got all these Half-Life Alyx mods. Levitation's about to come out. I still haven't got back into Return to Rapture. I mean, there's more than I can play now, and not just good stuff. I mean, like great stuff. So
you haven't even tried the best of the best, at least the game wise, which I believe is Red Dead 2. It's just such an amazing game, and I've been playing through that a lot, and I can't wait to try it with my 3080 Ti and crank everything up and be able to. The MSAA and all that stuff is the biggest thing that's going to make the biggest change, I believe, but I'll find out. But like, there's stuff going on in this I didn't even know, Wes. Like, so, and a spoiler alert, this game's been out forever. But there's so many side quests, so many side stories. But apparently, there's a cabin that if you stumble along into, you'll get date rape drugged as Arthur, and then you wake up stumbling in the forest, and then all the people at camp are making fun of you. And like, this is just what I've heard from people. I haven't experienced this. I told the person who's a barista at a coffee thing she was telling me about. And I didn't. I told her I don't know if I want. I don't know if I want to stumble on this cabin. I like. I don't want. I want Arthur to stay pure, and
yeah, man, you gotta watch your 9, brother, or your 6, I guess.
But it's crazy. There's so much to that story, Wes. You got to play it, man. You got to try it.
Well, it's certainly at the top of the list whenever we return to Mod Month number 3. Red Dead 2 will probably be the first thing we go into, but I gotta be honest, man. I'm skeptical. I'm not skeptical that the game's as great as you say it is. I'm sure that the game is amazing. But I mean, we're on strike 2 with me and Luke Ross right now,
Ooh.
and like,
Uh-oh.
I haven't had a great experience with the Luke Ross mod yet. So I'm hoping we turn that around now that we've got the the Rift S. We've got a native Oculus headset we can go in with, and we're gonna give it one more go. But man,
I wonder what it is, because
I don't know.
Like, it's like I would have said, it's obviously not, can't be processor, because you have a better one than I used to have, and it worked for me, the 8700, and the video card is screaming amazing. So it's not that. So I don't know. If anybody in the chat or watching through in the comments knows, let Wes know. 'Cause we need to fix this, because he needs to play. He needs to play through Red Dead 2, and he needs to stream it, because I think you're going to have so much fun, and people watching are going to have so much fun. I want to watch it. So,
well, John Tatum's got the right idea. He says Fallout 4 with mods is great. So maybe that's what I'll do too next time we do mod month. I'll just mod my Fallout 4 up,
Oh
which
yeah,
I'm loving it stock. So I'm sure modded up it'll be great. Um,
it'd be amazing.
you know what else I've been thinking about lately, Roots? And I'm talking about a game here that I think I've beaten twice already, but it's been a while. I think I might do it when October rolls around, which will be here in about 5 minutes. Wilson's Heart. Love
Oh,
Wilson's Heart, man.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's node based. Yeah, it's a puzzler, but it's heavily story driven. It's got super high production values. It's got a all star Hollywood cast of voice actors. I love Wilson's Heart, man, and I'm going to revisit that one more time before we get on to the next gen as well.
Yeah. Hey, what I've been thinking about, and you actually have somebody in the Discord was talking about it, or maybe it was some one of the episodes that um, I've been thinking about Rush of Blood on the PlayStation 5. I love that. I love roller coasters. I haven't played that game. I played a little bit when I first got my PS5, and I need to get back in there and check it out.
Well, just go into it be warned that Rush of Blood crashes on PS5. And now I have played through it in its entirety on my PS5. And I didn't really even start having issues with it until like the last level or the
Hmm.
next to last one. But it did crash probably 4 or 5 times during my playthrough. I had to restart the game and, restart a level.
Well, since you're being
Um,
honest with me and divulging this, I will be honest with you and divulge this. It's not really, I guess, dishonest. But when we do get to Red Dead 2, you may sporadically, every once in a while, and it's not that much, when you go into Valentine, the game wants to do weird crash or like lock up. And so, I just went through Valentine in the beginning, did as much as I needed to, and then got the fuck out of there and kind of tried to stay clear of it. Something weird happening. I researched it. Flat games, everybody has the problem, right? But I, since I got my new upgraded processor, I go into Valentine. Valentine's my bitch. It's never crashed. So whatever, it may not even be an issue with because you were one series ahead of me before, so you may not even be an issue. But I guarantee there's people out there like, yeah, Valentine. It's such a cool game though. I just get excited for you.
well, we will certainly get there if the VR release schedule allows us. And
True.
we got a lot to talk about today. New games, old games, uh, dying and dead games. So let's get into it, but let's kick it off the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. Dark Angel's here. What's up, Dark Angel? As is Space Denison and Paradise Decay. Hey, Roots, did you know Paradise Decay putting out his first album, putting out new music for the first time in like 2 decades? He's got a
That's
new
so.
album out
Oh,
called AI. New album
really?
called AI. Yeah, absolutely. And I
How
think,
cool.
what's it on BitChute? Is that what you said, PD? I don't have it up in front of me here. I think it's on BitChute. I think is
How
what he said.
crazy the depth of people. The well just keeps going. I never knew that about PD. I do know that he's knows the Uggs cast and they featured his creations. I think Lego creations or what was it? I know Minecraft for sure. But like that's just I don't know, man. Super cool.
Yeah, yeah. PD started I'm pretty sure. I think PD started on started making music. That's what really what got him into kind of the entertainment field here. Looking it up. Let's see here.
Space Dennison says
Bandcamp. Bandcamp. It's on Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
My
Okay.
bad.
Space
Thank you.
Dennison says just finished Oregon Quarters finally.
Yeah, I've only played a couple hours of Oregon Quarter. I probably should get back into it. I was a little underwhelmed by it. I like the weird factor that it had going on. Um, I didn't find it particularly immersive like a lot of people do. So I don't know. That was then. This is now, and it's been a long time. So maybe revisit Oregon Quarter when the time comes.
You know what's weird, Wes? Every once in a while, if I look away for a while, I have to remember I'm not sitting with Norm Macdonald. A lot of people people are saying that lately. Well, not just lately, but I think that's funny. I think it's true. It's true.
Well, as always, I gladly accept these comparisons, and yeah, I mean, I guess I would call him an influence. You know, we do VR news here, but I mean, anyone who's watched us for more than 5 minutes knows that we try to mix in a little comedy with it, right? And a lot of my sense of humor developed watching Norm from the time that he arrived on the national scene all the way to the bitter end. So, yeah, I'll take that any day. Probably the funniest man that ever lived, in my opinion.
Yeah, amazing.
Corporate Zombie is here, and as is Chinatown D. What's up? Chris Richardson is here. Onakazi is here. Traveling Man 3775 says PD is a musical genius. Well, that's high praise there, sir. Rob Perry's here. And Phil Yarn, good to see you. John Tatum, we already said hello to. Mepper here. Go Green and Game On is here. What's up? Artful is here. Jim Hall is here. App J is here. Who else? I know there's others. Mo Beast Gaming is here as well. Most of the 30 series demands too much power and is just beefed up without efficiency. My 3090 can cook a steak. Yeah, my 3080 puts out quite a lot of heat as well. You can always tell when I'm in a long VR session because my room turns into like a sauna.
Mine's super cool. No, I have no idea. I have the same For the Win 3 fans and everything that Wes does. So I'm sure it'll probably be a little bit hotter than his card. So it's crazy.
It's likely. Certainly.
Or the same.
Mash Daddy's here, our brother Eric. What's up, friend? Kill Artist, the Dreamweaver Game Cat. Hey, Wes, playing Warzone with friends. Thought I'd stop by and give you a like. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it very much. Mike Newton is here. Vargle Soft is here. Radio Runt is here. And we're getting toward the top now.
Oh,
I'm sure four-wheeling or Spry Guy has to be toward the top. Mickey Barrios is here. There's Spry Guy. I told you. I knew it. And that's going to round out our list. Tom Flesh Eater Gaming sliding in. Marcio the Drifter Game Cat says that he loves your green screen background.
I appreciate that. You know who else likes it when you slide in?
My mom!
And then PD says, you know who else puts out a lot of heat?
My mom!
They kind of both go hand in hand together, those two things. But we'll leave the rest for the connection for you.
There we go. Getting two in right off the top. Mark Smith is here. What's up, Mark Smith? All right. Well, I think that's our cue to start talking a little VR. And why don't we kick it off with the most exciting thing that we possibly could kick it off with?
There. Where are you taking me? I asked you a question. Everyone says Reyes is a good shot.
Yeah, and put arrows through both of us. You're switching with me.
It's a snap mob. We're not gonna make it.
Blameless Murad had me released from prison. But why?
Redemption is still possible, Reyes.
Climb the mountain. Find out why the machines are attacking.
that, and you shall be a free man. It will take all your wits, your skills, and courage. You have walked in the shadows, Reyes. Now it is time to climb into the light.
PlayStation.
Horizon Call of the Mountain promises, quote, multiple paths. New clips captured on PSVR 2. This from Scott Hayden at Road to VR. Horizon Call of the Mountain, an exclusive title headed to PSVR 2, got its first gameplay trailer earlier this month, which suggested VR's first Horizon series game would be more than just an experience. Now, Sony has tossed out some new clips alongside an expanded description of the game, which promises, quote, multiple paths to take. Developers Fire Sprite and Guerrilla Games are still playing it pretty tight-lipped on just how in-depth Horizon Call of the Mountain will be. Its first gameplay trailer suggested it will be significantly more than just a short Horizon-flavored experience. Now, the studios have updated the Horizon Call of the Mountain landing page to include a new game overview. Quote, conquer colossal peaks, overcome fearsome machines, and uncover a hidden danger to the world of Horizon as you answer the call of the mountain in an immersive new adventure for PlayStation VR 2. Enter a living, breathing world of dangerous machines, tribal lore, exciting quests, and new and returning characters. Explore a diverse landscape. Embark on a journey with multiple paths to take you where you'll have to look all around you to uncover the secrets of the mountains. The multiple paths could mean a few things. It might point to the possibility of a branching story that lets you choose your own adventure, or it may suggest that there are actual paths you can take through the world in your journey up the mountain, all of which lead to the same conclusion. It also appears there won't just be a singular boss fight interlude like we saw in the gameplay trailer, as the studios threw out some new gifts on the updated page as well to show off the encounters that will require you to fight multiple enemies at once. What's more, the clips state that they've been captured on PSVR 2. That's a pretty encouraging sign that Horizon Call of the Mountain is aiming for a pretty high degree of visual polish. Granted, there's still no official release date for the game or PSVR 2, which is rumored to arrive anywhere from Q4 of this year to early 2023. All right, I got to give Scott Hayden a little bit of a hard time here because I had a couple of these articles I had to choose from, and I went with the Road to VR one just because I didn't want everything we did to be from Upload VR. But one thing I could say for the Upload article that I did read was that they gave credit where credit was due, and credit for all of this information belongs to Brian Paul because he's the one that first spotted it. He's the one that put it out there into the world, and he's the reason why all these articles are hitting the newswire this week. So shout out Brian Paul for being the first to notice this. But yeah, man, you know how it was. When the first Horizon trailer or teaser came out at CES, the cynics out there, you know, well, maybe it's just an experience. You know how they do. So then we get the full trailer last month, and they're like, well, maybe it's linear. Maybe we're only fighting one boss at once. So, and, you know, anybody who knows what this game is going to be, which is the flagship for PSVR 2 when it launches, knows that that's not going to be the case. But now, Ruuts, we finally have confirmation of that. Branching paths. It's not going to be completely linear. We're going to have multiple bosses, as we can see from the new footage. This game is going to be impressive.
Still not enough for the people, mostly. I guarantee there's already people that are like, well, just like you said, well, you know, it's linear. Well, Farpoint was linear. I mean, you had different ways you could go at different times, but it was a linear game and it was amazing. Edge of Nowhere very linear game, one of my favorite games in VR. So the thing is people need to simmer down. My
Simmer down.
takeaway from this, simmer down now. My take from this whole thing, just watching this trailer. I've been playing a lot of VR. Most of what I do lately is AAA PC VR, right? Because the gameplay is amazing. Red Dead's phenomenal, and so I find myself gravitating towards that, and it looks amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing how amazing it can look with my 3080 Ti. But what I'm seeing there, it blows that away. I mean, everything is amazing, and it's optimized for the PlayStation VR 2. Everybody forgets that there is no Horizon for PC VR, for Quest, all these different options and things they got. It's one different console. That's why Farpoint was so good. That's why it was so good ahead of its time. But yet Horizon's not going to be. I have more faith, and maybe it's misplaced, and there's always room for skepticism. I don't feel like that we've been shown, or I guess let me rephrase that. I feel like we've been shown enough that we shouldn't be skeptical anymore. Now, will it be the open world dream game that we want it to be? Maybe it still could be. I don't know. We have no idea. They keep unrolling this thing, right? It's like they've unrolled a puzzle and they've unrolled like 10% of it, and now people are screaming out, it's a chair, it's a TV stand. No, dude, you don't know what the fuck it is until they let us know everything. So,
well, I know what it is, Ruuts. I know there's a reason why this is the one that Sony keeps showing.
yes,
That reason is that this is probably going to be the most rich, immersive VR experience that we've ever experienced at the time that it comes out. Now, I mean, obviously it's not going to be perfect. It probably won't be on the scale of a flat game. How could it be? There's so much more that goes in to making a VR game. But what it will be is highly detailed, fully immersive. Do we need to run down the spec sheet again? 4K HDR OLED. HD haptics in the controllers, haptics in the headset, adaptive triggers, Tempest audio, in a game that's built to take advantage of all that. It's going to be amazing. And really the only question I have about it at all anymore is how long is it?
Right.
It could be 5 or 6 hours, and I'm sure it would be great regardless. Hopefully we get 10 or more. But I don't know, man. I can't think of another game that I'm, anticipating more highly than this one. Like, I think that this is going to be a profound experience. And as a few people have said already, it's going to be like trying VR for the first time all over again.
yeah, I agree. And some people in the chat are worried that we don't know any of they wish they knew what some of the other games that are out there. But as we alluded at the beginning, there's so many devs out there. Petey even said that he just talked to a certain dev, and they were just saying, "Man, wait till you see is coming for the PlayStation VR 2." These devs know, you know what I mean? They can't say anything, but there's big IPs coming, and that this is going to be huge. And this is we've seen, like we've said before, we've seen the momentum of VR going like riding up, and it's ready to crash down with another wave. It's actually still going up. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, again, credit to Brian Paul for finding out all this new information, enough to shut the naysayers up for a couple of days anyway, until they find something new that hasn't been disproven yet. But man, what a gorgeous looking game. What gorgeous looking footage. It's probably the single most motivating thing to get me back into any Luke Ross mod, is wanting to finish Horizon Zero Dawn so I can get that backstory as I go into this game.
Are you really going to play the full backstory? Well, you should just talk to Dee for a couple hours. She really loves this series. She's played through the hell of it. Onikazu says, what was the last thing where expectations weren't met? Hitman 3. And my first instinct was to kind of laugh, but it's valid. I mean, expectations can destroy everything. So You know, there's other concerns that a lot of people want to know. Is it going to be a hybrid game? Which obviously not, because I'm seeing so much hand play. I think that the biggest thing would be length would be the biggest concern for me as well. And I'm not even concerned about it.
You know who else says that length is the biggest concern?
My mom!
Well, that along with the biggest thing. So.
Yeah, it is the biggest thing. That's right. That's right. Anyway, man, again, really looking forward to this. Can't wait for Q1 23 to get here. But in the meantime, plenty of stuff to play and plenty of new content coming for already existing titles. VR Dungeon Crawler Legendary Tales getting a massive new world soon. This from Jamie Feltham, Upload VR. Co-op Dungeon Crawler Legendary Tales is getting a huge new world as part of an early access update soon. The new world update was announced this week and intends to swap out the current starting hub for an area roughly 70 times larger.
Man.
Yeah. You'll still be able to meet up with friends. Good luck finding them, by the way.
Right.
And visit various NPCs, but you'll also have separate starting points for different dungeons and find much more to explore in the world itself. On a different note, the developer says it's looking into different dungeon themes to add to the game soon. Plus, it hopes to launch randomized dungeons, but it can't commit to that just yet. We'll also see full quests introduced in the future. These include mainline story missions and side objectives that help unlock new rewards. Weapon crafting also coming to the game. Smaller updates, meanwhile, include a new quick slot, changes to the skill tree, titles, and new monster types. That's a big one. There's no final release date for this update yet, but Urban Wolf does say that it'll be out later this year. We already think Legendary Tales offers a lot of fun in co-op with its physics-driven action, so we'll be excited to see these new additions bring a lot to the game. For now, Legendary Tales remains on Steam. No word on a possible Quest version yet. Good luck, Ruuts, getting this on Quest, right?
Yeah, that was, I mean, this game is so good, but it has, at least when we played it, it had a lot of jank because it was like right after it got released into early access. They've changed so much to it that it makes me really think that, man, this is going to be a really good game. But the article itself makes me think maybe it's like you look in the oven and you know your pizza's almost got golden brown. Like, I'm gonna leave it in there about 5 more minutes. I don't know how much time it's going to take, but it's good to see that they're on the right track. And I had so much fun playing this that when it's finally finished, I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, interesting timing for this update, right? We've been kind of talking about trying to find a reason or an excuse to get back into
Sure.
this and a couple of other games. Sadly, though, this update isn't out yet, and I'm not sure I want to wait for it. Like, it's been updated twice already or two pretty major updates since we were in it. So I don't know that I'll be waiting for this before I get back in there, but certainly looking forward to the continued outstanding work from this studio. These guys continue to deliver, and it's funny how quickly the narrative has changed away from the relatively high launch price. It doesn't seem so high anymore, does it?
No, but that's the whole thing. That's so, if you have enough content or enough there, then people don't mind paying it. In the beginning, we didn't feel like that they did, or people didn't. And as they keep adding and changing and making the game more refined, it's going to get to that value. That's why I believe, and I'm not making the game. I don't have their budget and people to pay, but start low. Reward the people that give you money in the beginning, flood your game, people playing the game, $15-20, and then, creep it up as the game gets really good. Pavlov's a perfect example. Once the game gets to a really good level, then now from this day forward, we're now charging $34.95. And people that had it from before will feel like, yeah, you got my back. And the people that didn't have it, like, fuck, I should have had it. I just think it's a good model.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's the model that these Wandering in Space devs, Moonseeker Games, take, because they kind of underpriced their game.
Did they release it?
Yeah, they did. They did release it. They sent a message, sent me an email like later that night or early the next morning, talking about a few things that they changed right away. The invisible wall should now be gone, and a couple of other things that was really quick for them to fix, and pretty much everything else that we listed they're working on. So
it's a sign of a good dev.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
$15 for that. $15 at launch for it.
That's a steal. And maybe that they do end up charging more down the road, but even just the fact that all of that happened, they had things come out right before release, and they've already changed stuff and everything else they're working on. That tells me everything that I want to know about these devs, and it makes me want to support them. And I think the game was cool. So
yeah, yep, absolutely. It's $28 right now on sale. Legendary Tales, $28 right now on sale, and it looks like someone said that they just picked it up. Oh, Onikazi just picked it up. I tell you what, man, you won't find many co-op games with more meat on the bone for you and your friends to participate in. There's a lot of game here. I mean, when the thing launched in the early access, the tutorial was a freaking hour. and I still don't think the tutorial covered everything in the game.
what do you think about them making the starting area bigger? I felt like, of course I haven't played it since, and this will be interesting to find out. I felt like I was always running back trying to get to people when I was dead. Now, does that mean that I'm going to be running through a bigger place to get to that place now, or how does that work?
The starting hub area isn't something that you're really questing in. It's that little town area where you buy things.
Okay.
There's merchants. It's where you spawn in when you're meeting up for co-op. So basically, they're just making that little area into a bigger, like, village style area with
cool.
a lot more stuff in it.
Can you get a shop? Make a shop. I want to open a shop and sell NFTs. That'll be the
We'll
first
open a
NFT.
head shop.
Head
We'll
shop.
sell bottles.
Yeah, dude, that would be cool. Get the Colorado time going on in there. How cool
Hell
would that
yeah.
be? That's an adapter I would put on my face. No, I'm not that one with the smelling things.
Right, vaporizer.
Yeah, that'd be
Vaporizer.
cool. That would be
Adapter.
cool. Yes.
Anyway, a great game already. Gets even better. I still feel like the early access titles from last year are really just now starting to come into their own, and I'm looking forward to seeing more from this, more from Beanstalker, more from Everslot, as we move ahead. That's quite a class of 2021, huh?
Yeah. Well, and if you're thinking of indie games, I'm not the biggest indie games, but if I'm going to play them, flat or in VR, I want them to be really good. And every one of those you just named are unique and different in their own way, and that's what matters, right? Like, because not everybody has the budget or the to put out these AAA games like Horizon, but they don't need to be. They just give us the variety of the gameplay that like this, the enemies, change all the things that needed to happen. It's one of the things that makes me want to wait a little bit because I like variety of enemies. So
yeah, that's kind of one of the things that this game really needed. So I'm glad to hear that that's one of the things that is going to be coming with this new update. Some more enemies, 'cause this game needed it.
Tom Flesh says, yeah, I took his VR to the local head shop for his homie to check out, blew him and his dad away. That's the combination you need. Head shop,
Absolutely.
Colorado time, VR, everybody's happy, and good to go.
Yeah, it's my destiny, Roots. I'm going to own a head shop, probably on the beach, because that's where my wife wants to live. So
How cool would it be if you had like a VR room in the back that you like? Yeah, I don't know, man. It'd be the first one. That'd be cool.
yeah, absolutely. Anyway, Legendary Tales, Everslot. Not only fun gameplay loops right out the back, but some would say kind of eye candy, especially for an indie game. And it's not the most frequent occurrence, but just every now and then we do have an indie game come out that could be classed as eye candy. Lo-Fi spin-off Agency, now in development for Quest. This from Harry Baker. Agency, a spin-off from upcoming VR title Lo-Fi, is in development for Quest after a conceptual tech demo released mid last year. This is a tweet from Blair Renaud, the developer of Lo-Fi. We're happy to announce that Lo-Fi's prequel/companion Agency is now in development for Quest 2. Development is being taken over by Andre Elijah and his studio, who will ensure that it's a best-in-class experience as well as a visual feast. Follow Andre for more info. Lo-Fi developer Blair Renaud made the announcement on Twitter stating that everything that I just said, development's being taken over by Andre Elijah. Agency was first mentioned in a Lo-Fi Kickstarter update around the end of 2020 when Renaud said he sent a successful pitch to Oculus for a Lo-Fi spinoff on Quest titled Agency. At the time, though, he said it would need some form of funding in order to, quote, justify taking people away from Lo-Fi. Renaud went on to launch a small tech demo centered around the Agency concept mid last year, available on Quest through App Lab. Cycling through a few short scenes and environments, you couldn't move or interact with anything in the demo, but it showcased a high level of visual fidelity on Quest standalone hardware. Now it seems Renaud has come to some sort of solution with the Agency dilemma, with Andre Elijah and his studio taking over development. Elijah is also working on a medieval VR, which, by the way, we covered previously on this show. which was unveiled around a year ago. And the developer teased on Twitter he has a total of 5 games now in the works for Quest. While Elijah and his studio develop Agency, Renaud will continue his work on Lo-Fi. Renaud also wrote on Twitter that Agency won't be a Quest exclusive and will work on all VR headsets. So I ask you, Ruuts, what do we see first? Agency or Lo-Fi?
My prediction is Agency. They said it's the prequel. They said it's when they first announced it, it was a spin-off, is what they said, right? The wording was spin-off, not a prequel. And and the fact that they couldn't justify what changed and that they could justify it. They made the demo and everyone loved it, so they said, okay, we can justify it. I know we're gonna see both, but as somebody that supported Lo-Fi and kickstarted it, it's been a while now, and I don't have confidence. I've saw more in this game than's really that I've seen in Lo-Fi. At least, and of course, I'm kind of like you. I haven't gone back into Lo-Fi for a long time, so maybe I'm not the best judge of that. If somebody out there is, I just feel like it's kind of gonna slow things down, and I wanted Lo-Fi now, and it's just kind of a little bummer that we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, apparently.
Well, here's the good news. The reason why it's taking Lo-Fi so long is because Blair's such a perfectionist. Like he keeps adding to it. He keeps trying to polish it up. And you know, he kind of needs to, right? Because we all kind of know that in terms of gameplay, there's not going to be a whole lot here. There's going to be some cool little, you know, side quests and mini games and stuff to play. But this is all going to be about how it looks, the atmosphere, the vibe. That's kind of what you're paying for here, and he keeps polishing that up. So I'm kind of okay with it taking this long. I've often actually encouraged him, don't put it out too early. Don't put it out till it's done. So you know, if that means getting it next year, then so be it. I do, however, think that we will see it this year. He's added a lot of stuff in there, and obviously he wants to get it done. That's why he's, you know, outsourcing this Agency project.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. And the bottom line is we want a good game. I want to have kickstarted a game that's the game we wanted, which is really good. And we say all the time, it doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as it's, you know, when it's finally done, it's what we want. That's all that matters. So,
right, and you know, we do have to keep in mind too that we're not playing it right now by choice. Like, we could go play it today, like if we wanted to.
Dude, it could be so amazing, and I'd be like slapping the old past Ruuts around, like, what the fuck were you talking about, bro? I guarantee I would go in there and be more blown away than I would think I would be, because it's been almost a year and a half, I think, 2 years maybe.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years. I mean, since we played the pre-Kickstarter alpha version that we played. It was bare bones when we played it. There wasn't anything to do. I mean, there was a gun that was a noisemaker. It didn't do anything.
That's true.
I guess we could fly the car around. Yeah, we could fly the car around. That was one thing that you could actually do.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more now. All those empty buildings are all filled out with NPCs and activities. I mean, there's a working arcade in there now that you can run emulation on and put your own games into it. There's lots of stuff, lots of little things to tinker with. So looking forward to Lo-Fi, looking forward to Agency. You know, I never even tried that tech demo, which is still available on App Lab for anyone who wants to check it out and see what it actually looks like. He put that together in a very short amount of time, just as kind of a proof of concept that he could do what he said he could do on the Quest hardware. So maybe we check that out pretty soon.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? And let me ask you, I guess, if it was in the Quest store, like if you could go right on there and there was you could type in, you know, Agency or whatever that demo name is, would you be more apt to do it? Because for me, and of course I feel like an old codger saying this, just the fact that it's on App Lab and it's just one more step. I feel like Anthony actually right now. It deters me from doing something like that. I have that thought, and then I'm like, like even with Ruins Magus or whatever, I had that thought. I thought that was the App Lab one because I thought that's what I had read, and then I found out it was on Steam, and I was like, oh, I can get it on Steam right now. Click it, it's here. I found it. It just makes a difference.
Here's the funny thing. The difference between searching for an App Lab title and downloading it and searching for a Steam title and downloading it is one more click. It's just one more click.
It's just
you got to scroll to the bottom. You got to click one more time. That's it.
That's it. Just
That's
one more click. No big deal.
Yeah, just one more.
Just make sure you type it, spell it correctly.
Yeah, make sure it's spelled
exactly correctly.
Exactly correctly. So agencies got a little more going for it. Like if Ruins Magus was on App Lab, it would be fucked. It'd be completely fucked from the start.
That's a good point, Wes. What are these developers thinking? Like for when I grew up throughout the 80s and 90s, before the internet really hit, everybody was AAA, right? Because you wanted to be the first in the phone book. What are you making your game Ruins Magus? You're not allowed to have a long name, 2 different names. It's got to be 5 letters or less. Swap those letters around. You can make it whatever you want. Make it easy to get found if you want to be on App Lab and found easy. Because we are 2022.
Omanakazi says, is it App Lab or side quest? App Lab stuff shouldn't need an extra step, or do you mean
just
not
a
having
search?
Fuzzy search. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, you have the process to find there is no like App Lab page on the Quest store. You have to search, right? You have to search. And when you search, and you even if you spell it perfectly correctly with the correct syntax and all the all the stuff just the way it's supposed to be, it still doesn't pop up in the search results. You have to scroll all the way to the bottom where you'll find a line that says 1 App Lab result. So like when I went earlier today and got the agency thing for the thumbnail, I went to the Oculus store, I typed in agency, I scrolled through probably 50 to 100 titles. And then at the bottom it said there's 1 result from App Lab. I clicked on that and then we were in agency. So it's like that for everything on App Lab. And there are third-party means to go about it. There's a page that looks just like the Oculus Store, a web page that you can go to and link right into everything that's on App Lab. But that's not the same. That's not the Oculus Store, right? It's something else.
There's just so many different things around it. The warning, clearly it's not just some weird thing. I just wish they would fix it because it's not fair to these developers. Because if that's the only way you can check out the thing, it's going to deter some people, and it sucks.
Hold on just a moment. Someone's knocking at my door.
Oh yeah, I always love that, especially when it's one of my roommates and they're like trying to tell me some kind of emergency's going on, and I'm just like, dude, I'm in the middle of a thing, and they're like, oh, fire, okay, yeah. There's certain things in life, whether it's fire or maybe a water a water pipe bursts or something. It doesn't matter what you were doing. Like I don't care what you were doing. Let me tell you what you are doing. You're now stopping everything because your water's flooding. But yeah.
Speaking of which, that's literally happened last time I was on Without Parole. Like right before Brian and I went on the air. He lives in he lives in an apartment building, and his wall just started flowing water down it.
Can you imagine? That'd be a great live stream just to see his face. I'd love to see your face, Brian, when that happened. Because that's just there's certain things in life we're not expecting to happen at any given moment. And I would say a waterfall coming out of my wall is like very last on the list. Like, is that, am I having a flashback from my my early 20s? How crazy. That sucks. So did he have to stop, I'm assuming, right?
Well, I mean, it happened right before we went on the air. And his maintenance guy in the apartment building knew about it already. And it wasn't originating from his apartment. It was from the one above. And what had happened was the people that lived under him had noticed it and called it in. So like, yeah, it was not a good
What a
situation.
mess. Oh,
But
that's
nothing
why.
he could do about it.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm glad I do have one neighbor because I'm on the end of a townhomes thing situation. But like, I don't want to be above me or below me, and like even being next to somebody with bed bugs and roaches the things I see on a daily basis. But yeah, it sucks. Water is a big issue, especially when it's not maintained properly.
Travelman says Ruins Magus is going to be like $35, and I wouldn't be so quick to poo poo on that one. We're going to talk about it here in a little bit. But yeah, $35 is a fairly steep price for a new game from an indie dev. But
Is it though
it's
for
not-
that type of a game? Like everything that has to do with anime or that type of stuff is expensive. I don't want to jump ahead of the course.
It's
I
a-
think
Yeah, it's not exactly a small team either. I mean, it was a pretty big team at Character Bank working on that.
yeah.
Anyway, let's see, where were we at? Oh, I know where we're at. We're about to talk about some city builders Roots because, as you know, we received a couple of city builders into the VR catalog this past year, and while they both had a lot to offer, they also both had things that they were lacking and were in need of. But the good news is on both counts, the updates are starting to flow. Little Cities now has hand tracking support on Quest. This again from Harry Baker. Little Cities now supports hand tracking on Oculus Quest and MetaQuest 2. We recently spoke to James Howard, one half of Purple Yonder, responsible for Little Cities, shortly after the game's launch, and we reconnected last week to discuss the game's big hands in Little Cities update. The update allows you to ditch the controllers and use only your hands for the entire Little Cities campaign. After some discussions internally and a few requests from fans, Purple Yonder decided hand tracking support would be the game's first big piece of post-launch content. Quote, "We really wanted to jump in at the deep end and see what we could do, and if we could make it playable with hands, and that's what we managed to do. It was a lot of work to get to that stage, a lot of challenges, but we're there and it's working really well. To place objects and build roads, you'll point at an area of the map and use the familiar pinch gesture found in many other hand tracking apps. However, movement with your hands is a bit unique in Little Cities. You close and drag your hands in a fist to move laterally, while moving fists closer or further apart will let you zoom. Moving fists in a steering wheel motion will rotate the map. Apart from that, a lot of the remaining buttons and actions transferred from controllers to hands without much modification. The wristwatch mechanic, for example, works almost exactly the same as it does with controllers. That just works really well with hand tracking because you naturally look at your hand and all that still works the same way. When you're selecting things, if you haven't played Little Cities, the way it works is you have to build a bubble and then you pop it with your finger. And then you get a section of other bubbles, which shows different options you can build. And that works really well, he explains. We didn't really have to change much to get that working with hand tracking, and it feels really good. This kind of tactile feeling. Because it's not only you kind of pop in these bubbles to select things, but it feels like your real hands when you're doing it. It feels like your real hand. It is your real hands. The Big Hands in Little Cities update is out now on the Quest platform. Both Quest 2 and the original Quest will support hand tracking, with players on the newer headset being able to take advantage of hand tracking 2.0. Ruuts, I'm typically very skeptical of these applications for hand tracking. Typically, one of two things turns out to be the situation. Either one, you don't have enough. There's not enough interface. You know, your hands don't have buttons, so you typically find yourself or the developers trying to fit too much in to a very limited set of gestures. The other situation is you'll find games that drastically scale back, you know, the range of what happens in the game to begin with, to fit within the parameters of what's possible with hand trackings. So typically, hand tracking games typically come off like tech demos, and you know, not the best experience thus far. But now, with that said, we do have hand tracking 2.0 now, which works a lot better and is a lot more precise than the original hand tracking SDK. Also, as this article astutely points out, this game, it's like they developed it with hand tracking in mind already. Like, a lot of the menus and things just seem to be perfectly set up to work with something like this. And while I haven't tried this game since they rolled this update out, I'm fairly optimistic that this could work quite well for Little Cities.
Yeah, it would be weird to think that they just decided on a whim to do hand tracking. I absolutely think they were designing it along track. You know, I mean, that the developers knew. Now nobody knew how good it was. And the biggest problem, there's two hurdles you run into with this type of stuff. The biggest problem is exactly what you said. It needs to be good enough. Like, I need to be able to go in there and be doing all the different things and feel like I'm not losing anything. Like, my hand's not doing weird stuff. Everything's especially responsive. When I push that button, it needs to push, right? Everything what I need to do needs to happen. The second problem you would run into with this would be haptics, you know. And I'm one of the first people that would say, man, there's got to be haptics. But there's a caveat. Something like this, I don't think there needs to be haptics at all. I think it's perfect for it. I think Demeo would be the other game that I would think, like, if you can make it to where the game is more enjoyable and easier to play with your hands, I don't give a fuck about haptics. You know what I mean? At least in this, I don't need to feel like Unplugged, where you need to feel like you're strumming or something. Like there's the audio, the popping. I mean, they do everything so well that you can make up for the haptics if the tracking's done well enough.
If the tracking works, then yeah, it just needs to be intuitive. And I don't want to be pointing and pinching at a bunch of menus, because
Nightmare.
it becomes you know, a never-ending game of clicking the wrong thing and then backing up and then clicking the wrong thing and then backing up. But this bubble popping system, it was one of the things that we really praised this game for when we reviewed it, was just how cool and intuitive their bubble popping menu was. Yeah. So
I think Onakazi's got it right. He says 90% accuracy is not good enough. It needs to recognize gestures every time. You're in VR, and frustration is easier to hit, that wall of frustration. If I'm, like Wes said, trying to pinch something and it's not working, and all of a sudden I'm grabbed the wrong thing, and in like 5 minutes I'm out. And but it's in dreams, man. Like, if the technology is good enough, this is going to be really good. It's going to be really good either way. But I definitely think it's a good choice. It's a perfect game for it.
Yeah, I think if any application of hand tracking is going to be viable, I think it's something like this. So, you know, again, we won't know until we get in there and try it out for ourselves. But again, I'm optimistic, and this is coming from someone who typically has not liked. I can't think of one time that I've tried hand tracking that I kept up with it. Typically within 5 minutes. Nope. Give me my controllers back. But this I'm interested in, and this is a game that I will be back in at some point, and I can assure you when that day comes, I'll be in there, at least initially, with just my hands.
It's so peaceful in there. Who doesn't want to go in there, right?
It is. You couldn't imagine. I mean, think for a moment trying to play something like Cities VR with your hands. Like, no way, bro. There's no way. But this game, Little Cities, it's scaled back and simplistic enough that it could work.
Yeah.
Speaking of Little Cities, speaking of Cities VR, Little Cities wasn't the only game City Builder this past week to come to the table with significant updates. Cities VR did as well, and this one giving us Ruuts something that we specifically asked for. Cities VR first free content update now available. This from Arthans VR. The first content update for VR city building game Cities VR released by Fast Travel Games for Quest 2 is available right now. Titled Metro and Traffic Routing, this free update lets you connect your areas with metro lines, allowing a whole new way for your citizens to travel around. In addition, the update also features traffic routing, using traffic lights and stop signs to direct the flow of your traffic. This is the whole reason, this next part, that I'm even covering this. The update also comes with a street level mode, which allows you to visualize the area from the perspective of a citizen, as well as left-handed support. The game is available on Quest 2 via the Quest platform right now. We thought we were getting this at launch, Ruuts, from the pre-launch ad campaign, and we're pretty disappointed when it turned out not to be the case. They've made good on that promise finally, Ruuts, and now you finally can zoom down to street level in the eyes of one of your citizens, and as long as your city's not burning to the ground like mine probably would be, it was probably quite an enjoyable experience. I know I saw GT raving about it. Although it is kind of his job to rave about it these days, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I saw this trailer and I was like, oh my God, this looks so cool. The city looks alive. I mean, citizens are walking everywhere. Now, I kind of laughed when I saw, because I had this unrealistic hope. I gotta throw this out to the devs right now. Like, I want to see accidents. And I know I don't want to see per se, but like, if there's people walking around, so every once in a while, somebody's going to get hit at that crosswalk, and then there's going to be an ambulance. People are going to be like gawking. You're going to see traffic backed up. People are looking out the window like, what the hell? Like,
Ruuts wants to recreate 9/11. You bastard.
Well, you could actually, there's so many things you could recreate. But I just think this is super cool. This is a really cool update. I really like the fact that they were listening, and I think they were already going to do it anyway, but it needed to be there. Shrink us to size. I don't know, can we ride the train? Did it see that? Because I thought that was kind of cool too. And now you got another way for your citizens to travel around the town and stuff. I'm sure the citizens are really happy.
Now all we need is that PC version, Ruuts. That's really that's what I'm waiting for to dive back into this thing. It's like, it's coming. We saw the beautiful footage from the early trailers that came out for this thing. I don't think for a second that was just all like cinematic rendering for a trailer. I think that's the PC version that they have yet to announce. I'm ready for it. I'm gonna play it.
That'd be super cool. You know what'd be cool is like if on the PC version, you could either do it through modders or you could do it traditionally through the have the gamers, or I mean the developers make it. But like, give me the option to because like Wes said, I would love, especially once you get to maybe where you can write everything and you feel like you're in this city. Give me the option to have a pre-built, and you could have, you know, a workshop, and they're doing it on Steam, and you could actually have people, and I guarantee people will do it, recreate New York City or whatever it is. And how cool would it be? You could even combine it with Google Map, or there's just so many possibilities. And you know, just keep doing more stuff, and I'll keep adding more stuff to the plate. And it just says cool game.
Yeah, if we had high power graphics for this and the ability to you know, first person any aspect of it, it would be cool if like they would unlock like a creator mode, just
Yes.
like a bare bones city builder where you're not trying to manage sewage and power and all this stuff, but just building infrastructure as a kind of like an art project. I think a lot of people would enjoy something like that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. There's so many possibilities. John Tatum says, just give me Godzilla, Rampage in VR. We've said that would be amazing. But I just think this is super cool. I love city builders in general. And now let me ask you this: what are your thoughts about G2 3080 on the PC version? I bet it's gonna look phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm kind of spoiled to my G2 these days, man.
I would be.
It's like it's every time I play anything now. When you know, I'll even start out on that Rift sometimes, and then it doesn't last very long. I got to try it on my G2 because it's a marked difference. Even over the Quest, it's a pretty substantial difference.
Well, you got a kick-ass video card. You need something to push it into. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that G2 is willing and waiting. It's almost more than my mom.
$400 right now, or at least it was last week.
I saw that.
Who are interested? Yeah,
that's a good deal.
It is a good deal. Anyway, city builders getting better and continuing to get better. I'm interested to see what comes next. Hopefully, again, for Cities VR, it's that PC version. That's what I really want. I want this thing to, I want it to be shiny and pretty.
Yep. Me too.
What's up, Lamfords? Thanks for joining us. Anyway, we are just about on the other side of headlines, but there is one thing I would like to bring attention to before we move on, and I think we need to have a moment of silence and pay our last respects for a number of titles that seem to be on their way out as we move into the next generation. These Gen 1 multiplayer games finally being put to rest by their respective developers. First of all, CCP Games announcing that Spark is finally coming into its last days. Ruuts, they killed Spark before. I don't know if you remember. They announced that the servers were going to be taken down, and then the public outcry convinced them to change their mind. But this time it's a little different because they're announcing that the servers are going down, all the social accounts are being put to an end. It's over. And CCP Games not only ending Spark, but there's a number of other titles that they're ending as well, including Eve Valkyrie, which was an OG VR game that a lot of people loved back in the day.
Yeah. It's the first example of dogfighting. It's Eve Valkyrie, actually. I played it when it first came out, when I first got into VR in 2018, and I really enjoyed it. And it's a good game. It just shows you that any online game like this, or any online thing, they can just take it away at any moment. I mean, it's not viable. This is the thing. When I saw Spark, and I'm sure there's some people out there, let's protest. You know, we did it before, but what happened before was you convinced the developers to give you another shot, and you blew it. Well, people in general blew it. They saw again people weren't playing, and they said, "What are we doing?" Like, yeah, I get that people are passionate, but we're losing money, and I'm sure they want to focus on other things that they're working on. That's the biggest thing. Free up some capital, free up some people, free up some time. So as much as I'm sad for Spark, if you love Spark, if you love Gunjack 1 and 2 or Eve Valkyrie, this should make you happy to some extent. It's like when Wes heard out that Arizona Sunshine wasn't the focus, he wasn't sad. He knew that Vertigo Games was going to put out after the fall and it was going to be amazing. And you know what I mean? You want something new and fresh.
Yeah, really the only way forward with these titles to keep them relevant would be develop them for Quest. And if you're going to do that, are you going to update your old Gen 1 games for Quest, or are you going to do an all new game? I'd say you're probably going to do the latter, right?
They're in a weird place right now. Hardware is changing so much, especially with, and people, and this is true, but people constantly say it, and somebody said it in the chat earlier, that Quest 2 is the driving force, right? Everybody wants to be on that platform. It's where everyone is. But PlayStation VR 2 is so close, that's where everybody wants to be. And so, like, you're seeing, I guarantee there's some developers that are shifting even now. They were focused on Quest 2, and the same thing that worked for Quest 2 is now working against them. They're not the shiny anymore. They're not going to be the best version. They're going to have their best version with the wireless, but you know what I mean? So
I do know what you mean, and so does Oculus or Meta or whatever they're calling themselves these days. That's the reason why, as we detailed last week, they're pulling back hard. I think they know that in terms of gaming, they're not going to be able to compete next gen, and they're acting accordingly.
yep.
Anyway, I wasn't all tore up when I heard that Spark and Eve Valkyrie weren't going to be around very much longer. But this next headline kind of hit me right in the feels, Roots, because we were going to bring it back, bro. We were bringing it back. But now, you know, less than a week after we put forth our pitch to the VR world to save Space Junkies,
Do it.
we find out Space Junkies will be unplayable on PCVR due to a server closure as soon as September. So this game, it's in its final hours as well. We can still have our event, you know, that we were trying to organize, but I think it might be too little, too late. Roots, Space
1 month.
Junkies.
If we would have done this a month ago, I think we'd be hearing the how Virtual Strangers and all the other content creators saved Space Junkies. That's the alternative universe, probably parallel.
Yeah, we put it out there on Without Parole last week too, and apparently the game has not been optimized for PS5.
Wow.
So, like, if you want to get a good experience playing Space Junkies on PlayStation, you have to go plug it in your PS4 and play it. PS5, it's shitty right now.
Proton War, right, for the PC. Proton War, isn't that what Scion loves?
Something like that, yeah. Rob Perry says that the G2 right now $340 with a student discount.
I'm not a student.
We can lie about it, dude. Just lie.
Oh, that's true. I'll tell you what. I try not to lie, but I'll tell you what. I have been thinking about it now that I actually have something that could push more graphics. Because even with what I do, and I'll probably end up using the Quest 2 more. But a lot of times I'll go into my Rift S to play Red Dead, and it's like, even though I love it, the stability, the 80, all of it, it's just not it doesn't look as graphically good as if I actually do Airlink and go through the Quest 2.
The tracking is not as good either. Like the tracking on Rift S is not as good as the G2, and I realized this firsthand during a stream recently. When I had the controllers occluded, you know, and one in front of the other, my hands started doing all kinds of crazy shit. It was one of the shows Mash and I did together. I forget what it was I was playing, but it was Green Hell. I think it was Green Hell. It was bad, man. It was real bad.
You convinced me. Somebody can donate. Whoever wants to donate to me, I'll take a G2 HP.
There you go.
HP's out there. Scion says Proton War alive, Space Junkies dead. Well, it's a very valid point. I didn't really care for Proton Wars.
Depends on your definition of alive.
Oh, it's kind of weird, right? The servers are gotta cost money. Is anybody playing that game? I don't know.
I don't know what it is. I don't have a mental picture of what that.
It's kind of like Halo. They say a
is.
Halo type of game, I think, in VR, but I just didn't care for it. It's just a fast-paced, um, Counter-Strike type of game where you're running around shooting each other over and over again. I didn't care for it. I'd rather play Contractors or Pavlov or Alvo, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, I've never played Prostate War. I've never.
I don't want to play Prostate War. You know who does love playing Prostate War? Papeo's Silent Hill Gamecat says, still surprised we haven't got more news on San Andreas VR. I am as well. Now would be the perfect time. But they're waiting. They've got to be waiting for what's a big event that's coming or something that would warrant dropping it.
Well,
you know what I mean? That's the only thing I can think of.
There's only two possibilities here. There's the Cambria launch and there's Quest 3 launch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about October with Connect, or we're talking about April with the Metagaming Showcase next year.
And if you believe the PlayStation 5 is coming, or VR2 is coming out Q1, then it would make sense to do the first one, right? Not wait till April. Get them first. You want your headset to hit first. Like I said, even you said it today. Like people don't have all the money that they did 6 months ago, a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't have the money that I had 2 days ago. You know what I mean? That money went flying out, and I thought, oh my God. But this is the thing. Like not everybody has unlimited funds. So whoever gets their headset out there first is banking on sucking up a lot of that money. So
Phil Yarn says G2 is amazing when it works. Yeah, and it works most of the time these days. Like, it's very rare that I encounter a game I can't play on it. I couldn't play To the Top Super Kit To the Top on it, but again, that's not even out. Like that version that I played the other day hasn't even been approved by Steam yet. Like, it's super early version. And it did boot into the headset. I just didn't have a controller binding for it and didn't feel like setting one up. But almost everything I play on my G2 works these days. So
that's the thing for me. Everything that I play now would be mostly mods, PCVR mods, and I'm using controller for most of them too. So that's not even an issue. So it'd be perfect case point for me.
Yep, absolutely. Anyway, that's going to wrap up, I do believe, our headlines for this week and bring us in to the week's reminders. And we're going to kick it off the way we typically do, talking about what's out this week. And we've got some pretty cool stuff out this week, Ruuts. This is from Jamie Feltham, Upload VR. VR stealth game Thief Simulator VR is coming to MetaQuest soon. A port of the game has appeared in the Coming Soon section of the Quest Store and is named Thief Simulator VR Greenview Street. Thief Simulator is focused on non-violent stealth. You break into buildings using a variety of skills like lock-picking or straight up smashing in doors and windows. You'll be able to bag items and make a hasty escape, but the game doesn't feature any form of combat. Getting spotted by the cops, and it's game over. To help you on your way, you'll have character progression with a skill tree and new equipment to unlock. Levels are intended to be wide and open so that you take multiple paths to your objective too. Roots, we played this on PC when it first came into early access, and I gotta be honest, this is one of those games that I'm kind of sad that I never went back to. I had fun in Thief Simulator VR. This is a fun little exercise in misdemeanor and felony larceny.
Oh, what's a misdemeanor and a felony? You know, we're kind of blurring those lines legally. So, you know, is it really, if the cops don't come out anymore, is it really illegal anymore? That's a different conversation for a different day. I was surprised to see this. You know, this is a very popular game, flat. And I don't know, this kind of creates, so watching this and hearing what you just said kind of creates a weird feeling in me, Wes, because I wanted, and I don't want to in real life. Let me preface before that. I wanted some violence, man. Remember that lady was peeking out and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, I'm Red Dead Redemption 2 on my mind. Like, oh, you witnessed something? Well, that's a bummer because now you got to go. But, you know, do they really want to tie that to a game that maybe kids are playing? Because this is a very popular game for kids. I think it'll do well. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, man. So the whole object here was, you know, you case out these places, these homes in residential neighborhoods to break into and steal things. But it isn't always easy to gain access to these places. Sometimes you've got to sneak through other people's yards who are home to make it into the backyards of the places that you're trying to break into. And it's fun, man. It's nerve-wracking. And, you know, me, I like to explore in VR anyway. So I get to not only, you know, break into these homes and explore and see what they have that's worth taking. But you also, I mean, you get a car, you get to drive around the neighborhood. It's a pretty cool game, pretty cool concept. And I'm interested to see how it translates to the standalone hardware. But this definitely one to keep your eye on. I had a lot of fun with the PC version.
Do you know if the PC version was Greenville or is this a different street?
This is a different game. This is a
Well, I know it's a different game, but
version.
it's like the same neighborhood. I kind of got used to that place. You know what I mean? It's my stomping grounds.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't think so, but I don't know.
Probably not.
Anyway, I think this one's coming. I think all these games are coming on the 7th, if I'm not mistaken. What does it say? It doesn't say. Not in this article. I think it's coming out on the 7th. I think all of these games are coming out on the 7th. But just stay tuned to the Quest store to know for sure.
ついに発見されたのだ。真相への大扉が。
真相への大扉って知ってる？遺跡の真相へつながる大扉。その先に遺跡の世界の真実が隠されてるって。
そしてその扉を開くには鍵がいる。これを私はキーストーンと名付ける。これよりルインズ・メイガスはこの鍵探しを急務とする。名を挙げたい者、富を求む者、己を試す者、遺跡の真理を目指す者、皆が主役だ。いざその真相へ。ルインズ・メイガス。
JRPG Ruins Magus to release on Quest 2 and Steam VR July 7th. Roots, this one has been a long time coming. I believe we were the first to cover this, in video form on YouTube here. The only other media outlet that I knew that had it first was Peter Graham, VR Focus, back when VR Focus was a thing. But that's how long ago we first learned about Ruins Magus, and here we are, release day finally upon us, and subsequently a demo available on the Steam store right now, free to play. And Drillo was talking about this demo on our Discord this past week, and that's what made me think before the show today. Let's take 20 minutes and go check out this Steam demo. And, how long could it be? Typically, these things are pretty short. You play the tutorial and you're done. Over an hour of content in this Ruins Magus demo, and man, I was thoroughly impressed with the quality of this experience. I've paid for games that I've had less fun out of than I did this demo. Did you have a chance to check this out?
I did, actually. And I'll tell you what, man, like you said, it's definitely done very well. I saw in the comments, I think it was probably in this article or somewhere it was, looking into this Ruins Magus, that people were complaining that there's no voice acting for English. And because it's a Japanese game, they had the dialogue and whatever. And somebody's response was just perfect. And maybe it was on the Steam page. They said, you had your chance to support them in Kickstarter the first time around. Like, right. You know what I mean? If you're going to bitch, like, you should have helped them out. And I was so glad that this game is still coming out. It's still a thing, because I was like you. I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, man. I think that who was it here? Someone in the chat, Marcio, the Drifter Game Cat, kind of nails it. But I mean, total Zenith vibes here is what Marcio says. And yes, but I would say, Roots, and maybe I'm off base here, I would say that this gameplay, this visual fidelity and art style, I would say that this is what we wanted Zenith to be. This was actually fun to play. And I didn't even have any friends in there. Like this, this is what I had. This is what I had in mind when I saw Zenith. This is what I thought Zenith would be. And man, if this title launches with any kind of like quantity of content, like if this is 10 hours plus, I think that $35 price tag, launch price, is justified. This is a high quality title, or at least the demo makes it seem like it is.
Yeah, give us, as long as there's good quests and good things pulling you through, because it's going to be a story based. Obviously, it's not Zenith like in that level. But a couple things. I was blown away by how good the fighting felt. Like you said, the magic, the different types of magic, the way that you would hold the grip longer to make it get stronger. Everything was intuitive. And then I used the grenade. And I was like, why is every grenade not like this? Not only the way that it feels when you throw it, but it was like the way that they had you not, I don't even remember if you let go of the grip or whatever it was. It was perfect to get it going, right? To start the thing burning. And then it was just really done very well. And so they paid attention to the gameplay, which is kind of important, So.
Yeah, man. And there's a lot of different gameplay mechanics that they introduce during these, I think it's 3 quests that they let you play in this demo. And there's a big boss fight at the end, by the way, like a legit boss fight. Actually, there's 2 bosses. There's like a mini boss and a real boss fight by the time you get to the end of this. But yeah, even though there was a lot of it, like a lot of different mechanics to learn, that it was all very intuitive. The spells and stuff that you start the game with are powerful and fun to use. I mean, the world's beautiful. I mean, I can't rave about it enough. I was so impressed with this. And
Drillo played it through 3 times, right? The demo. He said 3 times already. That's what made me want to go in there too.
Yeah, I believe it. It was challenging too. Like they give you three lives every time you go into the ruins, and that last one, I was on my last life. Like I had to fight the boss very carefully because I was going to have to start it all over again.
Well, before we go too far away, because it was way up there. And actually, you said, hey to Tiffany, she said, love your show, Roots and Wes, Gamer Chick, $25. Thank you, Tiffany. I was like, I feel like I should slap myself for letting 5 minutes go by.
Yeah, I saw it. I was going to get to it before we went into the next game. Thank you, Tiffany, for the donation. Very much appreciated.
Yep.
And thanks for showing up, by the way. We love it when you come and hang out with us.
Everybody loves it when Tiffany comes by.
Anyway, Bradley's in the chat. Sadly, it's Bradley says that he's very much looking forward, excited for Ruins Magus.
Yes.
Brad, check out the demo for real, dude. It's not your typical shit Steam Next Fest demo. It's actually
It was good.
it's actually legit. Like I said, I've paid for games that offer less than this demo does.
You know what was
And,
cool? It had options. I could turn the vignette off.
Yeah.
I could do standing and sitting. Although I didn't know that at first, and I tried to set it far right, and I was like a foot tall, and I was like, this isn't gonna fly in this game. So I had to change it, but it was cool because they had all sorts. The only thing they didn't have was smooth turning, and fuck, man, you can add that at some point.
They had smooth turning.
I did. Okay, well, the only thing Ruuts didn't find was smooth turning, but it was good.
Yeah, you have to go into where they ask you what you want your turn degrees set to, and choose 0.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, and then it's just smooth turning after that.
Okay.
Yeah, man, a full palette of options. It's like they took their game, their full version of their game, and let you play it and just cut you off after the 3rd quest. It's pretty much what this is. And get this, man, native G2 support.
Oh.
And it didn't even think like I was playing a Vive or an Index either. It was like there was G2 controller models floating in the game, like native G2 support working perfectly out of the box on this demo.
You need to stop because I can't afford it. And I was thinking back to like what that's maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks. Actually, it was right after I got my processor, and you asked Mash in one of our episodes, how long do you think it's going to be till Ruuts gets the bug and is going to want to upgrade his video card? And I said, nah, I'm good, bro.
That's the first thing I thought of.
You
First thing I
planted
thought
that
of when
seed.
when I saw that you had pulled the trigger, I was like, yep, called that shit.
You did. Well, it's because you know me, and it's hard not to want to upgrade to something that especially with what we're doing. I want to go in with the best experience, even if it's something that maybe isn't optimized as well. Like you probably have a better experience in most games than I would with the 2080, and which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I can get right up there with you.
Honestly, when I'm streaming and sometimes I have like performance issues, obviously because of the 2K per eye resolution in the thing, and you're trying to stream on top of that. Sometimes I have to scale it back, but I put it back on 60 and 70% super sampling, or I guess undersampling would be the correct term. You can't tell much of a difference. Like the screens have such high resolution in it that you still don't see like pixels or anything. It's still clear. It's not blurry at all.
I wonder how much of that would be solved with a better processor as well. Although yours is only like 3 years old, it's not old. It's not that old.
What the processor affects is your frame rate. Like the processor is responsible for creating the frames. The graphics card fills out the detail on them.
Oh.
So upgrading your processor will give you higher frame rates. It'll give you more stable frame rates, but it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the resolution.
That's why I like watching Virtual Strangers. I'm learning something from Wes every day. I didn't know that. That's actually very interesting.
But no, really today in mid 2022, the only real issue with G2 is that you have to sometimes map the controller, which it isn't difficult most of the time, unless you get a game that just has 0. Like most of the time, what happens is you'll get in a game and it'll work in the headset. Your controllers will be in the game. Your triggers and grips will work. Your thumbsticks will work. But your face buttons won't. Like your A and B, your A B menu, that stuff won't work. So all you have to do is just go click on Edit Binding and assign the specific functions to those buttons that the game calls for. So it's literally less than 5 minutes to fix it, and then you save it, and you don't have to do it anymore.
And then you get the glorious resolution of the G2.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's still my go-to. I've got 2 Quest 2s here. I've got Rift S. It's still G2 first, and then when G2 don't work, then I go to the, to the Rift.
You know what I'm curious about is if Mash had G2 sitting next to him, would the Pimax still be his go-to? I
don't know. Is he really playing that Pimax?
He says it's his go-to if he's not doing something that's related with streaming or that needs the Quest Mash. Are you still out there?
Which is
it
always
your go-to?
Which is always though, right? Like he's recording or streaming everything that he plays.
Yeah, he works so hard. Mash is destined for success.
Scion in the chat says we can't have Bradley here without saying Deckard at least once. Well, I'll let you guys say that, and I'll just say OLED micro displays.
Yeah,
we get that in there one good time for Bradley. Thanks for hanging out with us today, Brad.
I would love to have a Deckard, but
Bradley, the Tyler McVicker of hardware.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, we do have one more title coming out this week, which I wasn't too excited or impressed with right off the top, but it does have one very interesting thing about it, so it did make the cut.
Welcome to PatchWorld. Much respect to all the metaversians out there. We're gonna do it patch style. Alright. With them underwater dubs. We got the people in the underwater. Fluid echoes. Bringing it to ya. Group style. In the underwater. My selector, all of my people, check out PatchWorld. Hey!
So, VR music maker PatchWorld is headed to Quest next week. Another VR music maker headed to Quest, PatchWorld from PatchXR. The store listing for the app appeared this week, confirming it will launch again as these other titles on July 7th. So another music maker, Ruuts, and this one seems to be more along the lines of Electronauts, where it's kind of a game type experience versus something that's more of an actual music maker like Virtuoso. Not something that I would typically be interested in the very least, except when I paid a little closer attention to this trailer, Ruuts, I noticed something that sets this one apart from either of those two.
Multiplayer.
You can put a band together in this thing, man. So if there's any kind of like actual creativity involved here, and it actually gives you any kind of control over the sounds that you're making, and it's not all pre-programmed, this could actually be pretty cool. Something that you could actually make some music with other people and, perform live on stream for other people. An interesting concept.
Very interesting. Very cool. Tom Flesh Eater Gaming says, being a musician, love this. We were just talking about PD making amazing music. So if you love this kind of game, and I'd call dibs on PD right now. If you're like thinking about getting the band back together and you want PD to be in it, you can only do one. I just think it looks cool. It looks different. It's not really my jam. I partially agree with Chairface. No offense, but AAA VR can't come back soon enough.
Right.
I'm enjoying the depth of all these AAA games, and those are not native to VR. I get
Roots.
so excited.
How could you say this doesn't have depth, dude? They're literally on the ocean floor.
It looks actually visually looks really cool. It could be the most deep game. I'm not that big into music development. I'm not big into building worlds, but for those people that are, I think it could be really cool. And you could build a really cool world and do concerts. No, don't charge money. I think that's weird, but
You know what it reminded me of? Just the look of it and the way it's kind of
Under the Sea
works?
Presents or whatever.
No, it reminded me of Rhythm of the Universe Ionia.
Oh,
It's
that's
kind
true.
of what it looks like, right?
Hopefully, it's got better movement.
Hopefully you don't fall through the ocean floor.
No falling through the floor in any game, flat or VR. VR, it's kind of jarring.
Fair
It's
that's the
exciting
cases.
once.
PD says, under the sea, under the sea.
Oh, I could see some good times in there, PD. But
Yeah, man, it just depends. Again, it depends. Like if this were Virtuoso with, up to 4 players, I mean, come on, man, that would be amazing. I don't think that's what this is. I think this is something more akin to Electronauts, where you're going to get in there and people who aren't very musically inclined are going to have fun pretending that they know how to make music.
Yeah, they're pretending it sounds good. They're like, dude, that sounded so good. And I guarantee if you recorded it and played it to somebody they'd be like, they would get that look on their face, very uncomfortable. They don't want to offend you, and crazy.
Yep. All right, so that's what's out this week. There's plenty of other cool stuff coming later this month, though. So again, if you haven't already, click that big red button, ring the bell, so that you can be notified. More cool stuff coming this month, I assure you. Even cooler stuff coming.
Traveling mentioned there should be a Bill and Ted's VR game. He'd buy it. I think it would be amazing. Time travel is always good.
Yeah, man. Well, we've always kind of, pointed out the virtue of being able to time travel in VR. It's one of the coolest things that you can experience, although there aren't a whole lot of games and apps that really take full advantage of it. It's one of the things that makes Wanderer so good, is you're flying all over the timeline in that thing and playing with alternate timelines, and really a lot of what makes Back to the Future so good is what makes Wanderer so good.
Yeah, and it's perfect for VR. And that's the thing, we can't physically travel in time, but we all are curious what it would be like to be there, right?
Right.
So
Anyway, our next reminder this week, it's time for another Viveport Report, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, there's a new title available on Viveport Infinity this week, and Roots, it's a banger. Vox Machina, the full story campaign version that launched about 6 months ago on Steam VR and Quest, now available as part of your Viveport Infinity subscription, along with a pretty substantial update hitting it as well, with new multiplayer functionality and various bug fixes. Great game and a good pickup for Viveport.
yeah, absolutely. This game is amazing and perfect for Viveport Infinity, right?
Yeah, and I'm typically not one that digs these mech games, but this one's just so well done with a cool story campaign. Yeah, man, highly recommend. If you've got an Infinity subscription, now's the time to check it out. It's free, bro. Free's free.
Yeah, absolutely. Free is free. And this is, I don't know, man. I don't know if there's anything that feels like this in VR, as far as, like you said, mechs and stuff. The multiplayer, it's just a really cool game. And now you can play it for free.
I like the jumping with the mechs. You can really get high with one of these things.
Well, what's crazy about it is if you get into some real battles, especially with friends, like if you're good, you're shooting the opponent's legs out. their arms. You like, you know what I mean? You can get really frustrated on the other end, and so there's tactical things that it becomes really cool if everybody knows what they're doing. The movement is super cool, and I think this is, even though it just came out, I feel like it's already still flying under the radar. I mean, the Quest version just came out, but
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, you're right. It is kind of flying under the radar, especially on Quest. It's actually pretty graphically impressive on the Quest. It looks really good. So.
yep.
Time for Wishlist, ladies and gents. This is the part of the show where we ask all of you to join us right now in real time. Take just 60 seconds of your time and a couple of clicks on your mouse to support one of these devs that we talked about today, or you know, another one for that matter, by wishlisting a title. Help raise the profile of one of these lesser known titles. Something obviously that you feel deserves it, something you're interested in. Let's wishlist it. Let's help these devs out. They're awesome people who have dedicated their life to making VR games. The least we can do is give them a couple of seconds and a couple of clicks, right?
Help yourself out too. Do you really want to miss when it goes on sale? You know what I mean? Like, that wish list there for a reason. It's like, bro, wake up. You know, there's money to be saved here. It's 20% off. You're glad you wish listed it, right?
Absolutely. And that's why I am going with Thief Simulator VR this week, because as I said before, I really enjoyed it on PC. I think I'm glad to see the concept coming to a platform that has actual players that might buy it. Yeah, man. Thief Simulator. That's what's going on my wish list. You guys be sure to let us know what you wish listed this week.
I'm going to do Vox Machina because I think it is flying under the radar.
There you go. That's a good one. Boom. Just like that. All done.
Easy, right? Didn't cost anybody anything. And now you just help developers and help yourself, because we want better games. And so, like, why not help the developers sell their games so they can do better, so they can make more games? The cycle.
There you go. Onakazi, has anyone checked out that World of Mechs? That release with almost no coverage, it seems.
What?
Game GT might have done a quick video, but that's all I know. No, I didn't. And you know, this might seem weird. I've got a weird thing about this, but World of Mechs was absolutely everywhere, all over the VR news sites with paid advertisement. And I kind of feel weird about that, man. I feel like if this game was really that good, people would just be covering it. They wouldn't have to be paying for articles and shit. Maybe I'm wrong, but it kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I saw them fucking everywhere when they launched.
It's weird, right? Because
so
my first instinct is to, like, think that people should, like, promote their games, spend money, but, like, there's that fine line of you don't want to appear like like you said. It seems kind of like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. Like you're buying articles on Upload. Come on now.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Mepper says that he did Ruins Magus. Yeah, I would have done that one first, definitely, if I didn't have it already on my wish list.
Yep.
By the way, stay tuned for coverage on that one. I don't know we'll have it by Wednesday, but if we're not covering that one this Wednesday, we'll be covering it next. So, yeah. Anyway, that brings us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to help support us, help grow our channel and our community. Of course, we mentioned it already. The easiest way to do that, the best way to do that, click the big red button, ring the bell. That helps our number get a little bit bigger, and apparently that's the only thing that matters, Ruuts.
Yeah, well, that, and then the likes or dislikes. I'll tell you what, we're creeping up on 2,000, so that'll be a nice milestone.
Yeah, we're creeping up. Actually, we're accelerating, which is a cool thing. Which is good, because for the longest time we were going the other way, right? Like, so it's nice to see things picking back up around here again. Nice to see some hype for VR once again as we head toward the next gen for hardware. Yeah, man, exciting times here. So anyone who is subscribed, thank you. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Click the stuff. If you have subscribed and you want to do a little something extra, you can support us on Patreon. There's a link down below. Takes you to our Patreon page. $3 per month. That's all we ask. And you'll get our weekly show notes. You'll get insider updates. You'll get exclusive content. All that for less than $1 per week. And you get to feel good about yourself because you know you did your part to help grow our little enterprise here. So thanks to our 25 patrons. It says 23 on the page, but we have 2 that pay in cash. So thanks to our 25 patrons out there. We love you guys, and thanks to anyone else who's considering it. We love you too.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It does help.
Dark Angel says, wow, feels like this show just flew by. We covered a lot of stuff, Dark Angel. That's kind of the reason why whenever we have a lot of stuff like this, we have to kind of pick up the pace to get through it all. But we've been at it for 2 hours now, man. It's time. Unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. But we kindly thank you folks this week for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of some virtual reality.
Oh, you should make that.
VR, that is.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm off work this week, guys. Let's play some VR games. I'm off all week. I don't go back to work till literally 1 week from tonight. I'm home, guys. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be in VR.
How cool. And your family just got back, so you guys are united, just chilling, hanging out together, playing some VR, playing with friends.
Reunited and it feels so good. Yeah.
You need to make a list. Make a list of all the like weekly things you couldn't usually go to because you're going to work at that time, like contractors, Pop One, whatever it is, right? So make sure you're there.
Alex VR sliding in the chat. Good to see you, Alex. You rule. We need to talk, friend. We need to talk about language. Yeah, I watched your podcast the other day. I have some theories on that, bro. I think you might have it twisted, or maybe I have it twisted. We need to talk about it though. But good to see you, Alex. Anyway, what's left? Oh, Discord. You guys, join the Virtual Strangers Discord. There's a invitation in the description down below. We're there 24/7. We promise. We're a community of lurkers, right? Like you could tell that everybody's like kind of dialed in. Anytime something happens, everybody kind of piles in within 5 minutes. But yeah, we're all there 24/7, hanging out like good families do. And we invite you to become a part of that. It's where we meet up for multiplayer. It's where we talk about flat games, VR games, and life in general. All are welcome, unless you're an asshole. If you're an asshole, just don't click, all right? But if you're watching this, how big of an asshole could you be if you're watching this right now anyway? So click the thing, and we'll see you there.
Traveling Man says, love the jingle, Wes. Giving us $5. Appreciate it, Traveling Man. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Traveling Man. Thanks again to Tiffany for the donation. Thank you to Dark Angels, the Virtual Strangers Karaoke. I thought about doing that, man. Like people are doing stand-up in VR. Where's the karaoke? Where's the VR karaoke bar? Somebody needs to build this thing in VR Chat or what's the other one? Neos or whatever, Rec Room. Or
just mix some alcohol in the community or communities, and I guess you don't even have to have alcohol. It just gets crazy, right?
Kramer 3K says I'm out. Are you saying you're an asshole, Kramer? That's all right.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. Anyway. You're here. You're not an asshole.
Onakazi, Virtual V, the Meta Hat, Viewmaster, the new stereoscope. Yeah, man, I'm down.
Yeah.
Frank says I'm somewhat of an a-hole. We all are at certain points, man. You know, we're only human, right?
Yeah, we all have our moments. I call them the Scion VR moments when Ruuts snaps at him. Scion, you remember that Scion.
Simple X poking his head out from under the rock. What's up, friend? Good to see you. Anyway, I think we have to. Go home now, Ruuts. I think that's the show.
I think that's it.
With that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Ruuts here, I'm Wes. We will see you very, very soon. Bye.
Take it easy.